My name is Anne Rose. I'm the museum coordinator at the Billy Ireland Cartoon Library and Museum. I want to welcome you to CXC 2020. We'll get started in a few moments with the panel Drawing Power, Comics, Trauma, and Reclamation. But first, we want to thank our sponsors. We couldn't do this without them because of their generous support from places like the Ohio Arts Council, Greater Columbus Arts Council, and White Castle. We're able to provide this content to you for free. So thank you so much. A few housekeeping tips if you're new to Zoom. We want to go over just a few things to show you how you can participate in this panel today. So this presentation is followed by a Q&A. You'll have time to ask questions to the panelists. You have been automatically muted by the host and your video is off. This presentation is being recorded and it is also being simulcast on the CXC website, YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. And here's what you're gonna have access to. You can adjust your audio settings at the bottom left of your screen. Chat, you can talk to hosts and other attendees by typing in chat. You'll be able to raise your hand, give feedback to questions by raising your hand if asked by the panelists. And you can submit questions for the presenters in the Q&A tool. So here's what that's going to look like on your screen. The audio settings are on the bottom left. You just click that arrow if you need to adjust anything. And the chat box is in the center. If you want to raise your hand, you're going to click that. It's going to turn green. Lower your hand, click it again. Q&A box, if you click that, it's going to open your box. If you want to send a question anonymously to the panelists, you can check the send anonymously. You're going to type your question in that little comment area and then hit the blue send button and your question will show up to the panelists. So thank you. I'm going to hand it off to our moderator, Caitlin McGurk.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. I'm Caitlin McGurk, Associate Curator and Assistant Professor at the Billy Ireland Cartoon Library and Museum. I've been very much looking forward to this panel because I think that Drawing Power is one of the most important comics anthologies I have ever come across. Inspired by the Me Too movement and dedicated to Anita Hill, Drawing Power is a hefty 260-page testimony of the all too relatable experiences of being a woman in a world where our bodies are treated as belonging to others and not us. The editor, Diane Newman, is a cartoonist luminary, the creator of D.D. Glitz, editor of the legendary Twisted Sisters anthology, and contributor to women's comics. And as officially announced last night at our reception, Diane Newman is the winner of this year's CXC Master Cartoonist Award. Congratulations, Diane.
Thank you so much.
With Drawing Power, Newman gathered stories from over 60 women of varying age, race, nationality, religion, and sexuality. An impressive feat in itself, which I look forward to finding out more about this afternoon. Drawing Power is a book that should not have to exist, but I am so glad that it does. It is not an easy read, but it's an essential read. As a survivor of rape and countless sexual aggressions from micro to macro, for me, Drawing Power is both a reassurance that we are not alone, that this is not our fault, and a call to arms for just how prevalent these experiences are and how this must stop. We're talking a lot about pandemics and epidemics these days, and sexual assault is both. Drawing Power is all of the proof that you need to know that. As Diane writes in her introduction to the book, out of all of the women that she approached to contribute, which is probably upwards of 100, only one of them said that she had never had such an experience. I want to also welcome and thank our panelists for joining us today, the contributors to Drawing Power, Carta Monir, Dr. Ebony Flowers, and Joyce Farmer. Carta is a cartoonist, publisher, and pornographer living in Ann Arbor, Michigan. She's a past recipient of the CXC Emerging Talent Award. Ebony Flowers is an ethnographer and the creator of the highly acclaimed graphic novel Hot Comb, which most recently won an Ignatz Awards for Outstanding Graphic Novel and an Eisner Award for Best Short Story. Joyce Farmer is a personal hero of mine and the co-editor of Tits and Clits from 1972 to 1987, as well as Abortion Eve, two of the most important contributions to comics history, in my opinion, and the creator of the deeply moving graphic novel memoir, Special Exits. So thank you all for being here. I want to mention to everyone watching today that due to the nature of the subject of Drawing Power, some of the material in this talk may not be suitable for all audiences, and it also may be upsetting. So please take care of yourself while you're listening to this and do step away if you need to. So hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm going to get started with a few questions that are specifically for Diane as the editor. So Diane, can you tell us about what led you to decide to create Drawing Power?
Well, it's kind of like in the story that I did for this book. This book is all personal stories of specific things that had happened to them, except for me, because I felt I had to explain why I did the book. And it was just, Trump saying, when you're a star, you can do anything. You can grab him by the pussy. And so that's why I called my story, Grab Him by the Pussy. And it was a culmination, it was, day after day, there was a new celebrity assailant, and I just thought, okay, the only thing, I felt really frustrated. And then I thought the only thing I could do is do a book, because I'm a cartoonist and I've been an editor. And I really didn't know quite what I was getting into when I started this. I kept pushing for more pages and more authors with Abrams. They were very good. They were pretty much let me do what I needed to do. And it was a big job.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I got them to do the things like send out the checks and figure that out, because like for Twisted Sisters, I had to do that, but It was only 12 artists, So I found that even just starting this book, I started to get memories of things that I had completely repressed or forgotten, like in the time I had to fight off a rapist and friend, and in some ways I wish I had done that kind of a story, but I just felt this was important to me to do it this way. So.
Yeah. How did you, I was astounded when reading this, how many cartoonists in here I was being introduced to for the first time. And I mentioned in the introduction, people from all over the world. I'm really curious about, how did you go about identifying the artists for inclusion? What was the call for submissions like, or was it invitation based?
There was no call for submissions. I wrote individually to cartoonists that I liked the work of and wanted to be in the book, and then within that, I wanted to have a variety, like you said, a really big variety, because I really hate when they talk about the first wave of feminism and the second wave and the third wave, and, we're all in this together.
Mm-hmm.
We may have a different approach, but it's still important to recognize that. And I used Instagram.
Nice.
And Mary Naomi, who's one of the contributors to the book, had put up this website that was listing cartoonists from other countries, other ethnicities, and also gay women, and also from a lot of different countries. So that's sort of really helped me. But basically it was, okay, this is a person I never heard of, or I've seen their work on Instagram, and I'm going to look at all their work that I can find. And then if I like it, I ask them to do a story.
That's phenomenal. For those watching who aren't familiar, those databases that Diane refers to are the Cartoonist of Color database. I think Mari also made the Queer Cartoonist database and recently debuted a Disabled Cartoonist database. These are incredible resources. So I think that's a fantastic way of going about this. Did you have specific criteria for the submissions that you were, soliciting from people, or certain parameters that you gave them, page count, that kind of thing?
In the beginning, I let people pick out how many pages they would do. As it got tighter, I had to assign a page count, having 62 artists. I had no idea that I was going to wind up with that many, and it was really important to me. I would have liked to get artists who didn't speak English and have them translated, but that would have delayed the book too much for Abrams, and been very expensive, so we didn't do that. I still found many English-speaking people in other countries, and that was a big part of it, you know.
So they were given total freedom to kind of structure the story.
Well, within a page count sometimes, yes, total freedom. The only thing that I did was if I felt confused by the continuity or I saw rough from some people, and if I couldn't follow it, then I would ask them